Dhwani is a 24/7 national domestic violence hotline that supports survivors of domestic violence by offering crisis and emergency response services. So if you look at PCVC's history over the years, we are 22 years old now, and we've had a hotline in some form or the other in all of these 22 years. We've offered telephone support, online support, long distance support to survivors. So when the organization first began, what we had was a line in which people could call in and the number was passed around from one client to another. When we were working with all women's police stations, that number would get passed around, and through word of mouth and through referrals, we got a lot of calls. In 2017, we launched the hotline publicly as the National Domestic Violence Hotline. There has been a lot of efforts to increase the visibility of the hotline, publicize the number, make sure that more people are aware about the services that the hotline offers. Anybody can call in from any part of the country. We have a 1-800 number that is accessible 24/7. So we have a WhatsApp number that people can reach out to us on. We also have email, DV support at PCVC Online that people can email us on. A lot of clients reach out to us through social media on Facebook, on Instagram, and chat with us because it's easier for them to access social media than to call us. We also have website chat. So on our website, we have a live chat and our counselors are available on that chat to respond to anybody who calls. So this is a multi-channel hotline. We have 6 counselors currently who offer support in 6 different languages. Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Kannada, English and Hindi. Okay, so these are the languages that we cover that our counselors can answer calls in and provide support. Home is often the very first safe space for most of us. And when we experience violence within the home, from people that are supposed to love us, have our back, care for us, it fundamentally disrupts our ability to trust, our understanding of our place in the world, and it really impacts our physical and mental health. When people call Dhwani, our counselors understand the trauma, understand the impact of it and respond sensitively.
When a survivor calls, there's a lot of rush of emotions that they go through because it is not easy to call, to take that first step, because domestic violence and gender-based violence, it's always talked as is a family issue. We should not talk about it. It is very hard for the survivor to make that first call and reach out for support.
What does it mean to provide an empathetic, safe space for survivors to reach out for support? And that is what we are trying to create with Dhwani.
So in PCVC, we train our responders what domestic violence is, the impact that it can cause on a survivor, and also the trauma that impacts the survivor. We ensure that the survivor feels safe and comfortable when they reach out for support. We reassure them that this is a safe space, that they can share what they want to share, they can take their time to share, they can trust the process.
Each person defines for themselves what they feel is a crisis. So what might be a crisis situation for me might not be a crisis situation for you. You might think, okay, let me see how this goes. The client and their experience defines the crisis for them. So if it feels like your safety is compromised, that you're in harm's way, there is something that's going to happen, okay, and that sense of fear and anticipation is there that something big is going to happen. These are all things that are individually driven. Whatever decisions are to be taken are those of the survivor, that they take the decision, that they decide what happens with their life, and we are not there to tell them do this or that.
And whatever their fears are, we try to explain to them and understand and provide that space where they can feel free to share what they want to share. We facilitate a process where we generate a multitude of options with the client and explore how they want to go ahead. We also keep them informed of the consequences that can lead to for each option that they choose, so that they can be aware and make an informed decision. Dhwani Hotline provides frontline support and crisis intervention services to women, queer and trans survivors of domestic violence. Our services include counseling support, psychosocial support, emergency rescue support, emergency medical support and emergency shelter support. We also provide legal support, guidance and referrals, law enforcement support and economic empowerment support.
We begin the conversation by asking them, are they safe to continue the call right then? If not, we would let them know that we can schedule a call later when the environment is conducive for them and when they are safe enough to speak to us. Most of the time, the perpetrator might have access to the client's phone. So when such situations, we discuss safe code words with the client to ensure that whenever she reaches out, it's that her texting or the client is only speaking to us and not anyone else.
Survivors reach out to us from different situations and we assess their risks and make sure there is a safety plan in place so that if the situation escalates or if there's an emergency, the survivor is aware on how to handle it and is equipped with the resources to go ahead and access support. All needs of survivors might not be met with just the services of PCVC, and they might be in another need that might not be met with one of our services. So we do connect them with other stakeholders that we are connected with.
So we at PCVC have a robust multi-stakeholder database, one-stop centers and women helpline or government organization. We shortlist few organizations and we do visits to the districts. We have multiple levels of meetings with the organizations. We do due diligence and based on which we add them to our stakeholder database. So for example, if a client calls us from Madurai district and she is in a crisis situation and she needs shelter support or rescue support, we connect with our nodal partner organization or stakeholders and one-stop centers. So through that, we ensure that timely services are provided.
Something that's really unique about Dhwani is that Dhwani is not just a call-in hotline, it's also a call-out hotline. In that, we get say 1,500 to 2,000 new calls a year, but we make about 20 to 30,000 follow-up calls every year. So we follow up very closely with each client.
Plan to make a safer follow-up is scheduled on the very initial call itself. And these multiple follow-ups go until we are able to provide them with interventions, and it stops only when the client is out of the crisis situation and when the survivor chooses to stop there and tell us that they would get back by themselves if they are in need of support.
When a survivor calls the Dhwani hotline, our counselors respond with a complete understanding of how traumatic it is to share a personal experience of violence. They listen without judgment and maintain complete confidentiality. They will not push you to reveal information or experiences that you're not yet ready to share. And they will not ask you to make decisions that you are not comfortable with. They will trust and believe your words and treat you with respect and dignity. Call the Dhwani National Domestic Violence Hotline if you or anyone you know is going through domestic abuse. Be a voice for change.